Okay, welcome to the Ask Me Anything session of the Tucson Macintosh User Group meeting for May of 2025. I am sorry to report that our main expert, or the one who tends to answer most of the questions, Kevin, is unable to be with us here this evening. So you're going to have to accept the crowd that is here, and we will try to have some right answers. Are there any questions?
I have a question right away.
Go
Um,
ahead.
so I got a frantic call from my daughter, and my granddaughter dropped her iPhone in the lake, 50 feet of water. I don't know much about it except that the phone is in the water, and she doesn't have any way to communicate. So somebody else texted me, and I'm just trying to say, how should I advise her on her return, or what I can communicate with her? What would be your suggestion? Where to start?
Roger, I think you have a suggestion there, something you can buy on Amazon a bag you put it in to help dry it out.
Well, is the phone still in the water? You're muted, Mark. Did they recover the phone?
No, it's in 50 feet of water.
Oh, yeah, that solution won't work. I have another
Yeah.
solution. It's called scuba.
That's what I was thinking too, is pay somebody to go down there and dig it out. But I mean, find it, but I
Yeah,
don't
there's
know.
lots of stories where phones have been in water for sometimes weeks and
Really?
they've still worked, but only after they're recovered.
Yeah. So scuba would be the first suggestion.
Unless
Okay.
unless you got a really good free diver, somebody that can hold their breath for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Some years ago, my wife had her cousin come up to her and say, "What is your email address and your phone number?" And Gretchen said, "Well, you know that. You know that, Elise." And she said, "Well, I dropped my phone in a porta potty. Now I have a new phone."
And no backup. So the moral to that story is back up your iPhone to your Mac.
Have bought and used for several years now the program called iMazing, which is a third generation, very comprehensive backup program for iPhones and iPads. And I can recommend it wholly. I'm very pleased with it. I run it every Sunday.
Yep,
Yeah,
I
that's
can
a
too.
good way to do it.
But you got to do it. You can't just hope.
Hey, Roger, can you post the name of that pouch that Bob was talking about?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure it was in the last Geek Gift Guide, but I don't remember the name of it. A lot of people say put it in a bag of rice, and some people say little particles of rice can get in your phone, and that would be bad.
Right.
The other thing that I do is every time I get a product, excuse me. Sorry, my mute button didn't work there. Every time I get one of those little packets in a product, that's supposed to
Silica
dry things
gel.
out, I put it in a plastic bag in my junk drawer in my kitchen, and so I've got one ready to go just in case.
Does the model of the phone have any difference, have anything to do with how waterproof it might be?
Well, generally, the newer the phone, the more waterproof they are.
Would it help to talk to an Apple store and find out whether it's worth spending money to go have somebody get it for you or what? Would that help?
A
I
lot
have
depends
my,
on if you have backup.
I keep my Android phone in a waterproof case. Costs about $20 at Walmart.
That's a real kick in the teeth.
Yeah,
The
if there's no backup other than iCloud, we hope, then buying a new phone and get a iPhone 16e and download it from go to the Apple store and have them pull it down from iCloud. Any other questions?
Does anybody have any recommendations for USB hubs or anything? The MacBook Air that I've got only has two little USB-C ports. And I'm thinking, okay, it gets lower and lower as number of ports or whatever.
Right.
And you got to keep plugging things in.
Check Amazon. The Amazon Basics hubs are known to be good. And another company that's good on USB ports to add would be the company named Anchor.
Yes, I'm aware of them. Thank you.
I would say you go to Amazon, look for is this hub going to stay on your desk
Yes,
at home?
yes,
Look for a hub that has where you plug it into the wall too, so it has power.
it has power. Okay.
And buy one from somebody that has a name that you trust. I recently went through this, and one of the ones that I got, let's see if it seems to have dropped off. Oh, there it is, and refunded. I bought a TP-Link powered USB hub 3.0 with 7 USB 3.0 data ports and 2 smart charging USB ports. And that has worked out for me. I had the one I had for forever and ever started dropping the connection to my external hard drives,
Mhm.
or their external hard drives would just drop off the end of the earth at any time that they felt like it.
That was a symptom of one of the Macintosh operating system updates for some
Okay,
people. For some people.
maybe it was not me. Maybe it was not the hub's problem, but I've got this TP-Link powered hub, and I will put a link to it in the chat.
Okay.
I would take a look at some of the OWC stuff. That I've got a couple of boxes here that I plug in video and audio and hard drive stuff like that. All it's not just for USB-C.
And it's powered.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I will take a look at those. I'm also trying to reconfigure my wife's desk. And if that doesn't come out right, you know what happens there. You don't want that.
I think
Yep.
the analogy is when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Oh, yeah. I have another question. I had a problem this week with a Sandisk, a 4 terabyte, a little tiny Sandisk, and I
S,
had plugged it into my
S
computer.
uh-huh.
It showed up on the desktop. I used it to back up. Fine. A week later, I went to plug it in again to back up. It wouldn't even recognize it. I thought this is very, very
Was this a
strange.
was this a SSD? Was it a thumb drive? Was it a
It's a
SD
SanDisk
card?
Extreme Portable SSD, a little
SSD.
tiny
Portable
one.
SSD.
Yeah, like an inch and a half by 3 inches.
Is it under warranty?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's less than a month old. I took it back to Best Buy, and I walked in there. Of course, they send you the
That
Geek
it?
Squad. Yeah, similar. Yep, that's it. I went to the Geek Squad with it, and the guy looked at me and he says, "Well, those come for, you can buy it for PC or for Mac." And I said, "Well, you can use it for either one." He didn't know that. So anyway, I brought it home. I'll plug it in, and it worked. So I don't have any idea why it didn't work. Anybody have that kind of problem or suggestions?
Well,
Playable.
I've got a whole handful of them, and I like them. I use them just like big little or like big thumb drives is all. I don't use them for backup or anything like that. Usually they go on trips with me in my car.
Well, I mean, they're handy. I had them before, no
Yeah,
problems.
that's what I mean. They're really handy.
What
Just don't
the,
go to the.
what does disk utility have to say about it? Does it show it when you plug it in?
No. Now it does, but the second time I plugged it in, it didn't do that. It didn't show up.
Bill, did you
But now
try it with
it
a
does.
different cable?
Yes, I did.
And it
The
failed with two
USB-C
different cables?
connection. Yep. When I got back from Best Buy, I plugged it in again. I said, "This is stupid." I plugged it again. It worked just fine.
What is its format? AFSC or HFS plus or
Offhand, I couldn't tell you.
MS-DOS?
No,
It's not that.
no.
No, if it was
They come,
FAT32 or DOS, it would still work.
they come formatted at exFAT.
But it works fine now. But I just never had that problem before.
And that's why we say if you have one backup, you don't have any backups.
You want at least
Right.
You want
Right.
at least 3 copies of your data.
I have 2.
Not enough.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Do you have any offline backups, things that are out on the web that your machine uploads back data up to?
No.
You really should consider that. I mean, it depends. My wife never did a backup, and she said, "I don't have anything to back up," except she did, and we fought about it all the time. But basically, I covered her butt for her, and got a whole bunch of stuff backed up. I have 5 backups of every piece of data, and that's about right for me. You know, your mileage may vary, but you really need to have a backup out in the web somewhere, and so it's not susceptible to fires at your location and hackers on your machine and that sort of thing. I recommend Backblaze. You have to pay $100 some odd a year, but it's the price of doing business so that you don't have to worry about stuff like this in the middle of an Ask Me Anything.
Ah,
So I just for grins, since nobody else is talking, I have two hard drives, which are my daily backups. And I also have two SSD drives, which are my time machine backups. I don't know whether you know you can do this or not, but you can plug two uh, of like SSDs in and tell Time Machine use them. And what it'll do is it'll use drive A, then drive B the next time, then drive A the next time, ping pong back and forth. That has a downside, which is that if something goes wrong, you better get to your good drive before it gets ping ponged with bad data. But with 5 copies, I think I stand a chance of being able to do that. Costs probably a couple $100 a year, but it depends upon how many dollars you think your time is worth and your data are worth. You need to give it some thought because things will break. They will. After 84 years and 70 some odd of them in computers, they'll always break. Take care of yourself. Spend the money.
Lee, you have a question?
Uh, well, yeah, I have a couple questions, but just a comment. We were talking about a little bit before I was trying to search. We're talking about docking stations. Uh, I went through a period where I was trying to find a docking station to work with my MacBook Pro with an M1 chip. And I had a heck of a problem trying to find anything that would work that would use multiple screens, double or triple screens. I did find one that, well, after sending back 2 or 3 of them, I did find one that works perfectly. Um, it is well, it's called the model number is U as in U as in Union, D as in David, S as in Sam, 015D. It's a triple display docking station designed for M1, M2, and M3. I'm looking at it right now at Amazon, and the price on it is $169.99, so $170. Now, the it the reason I'm bringing this up is because some of the ones that I ordered that I tried out said in the data sheet or the information online and in the data sheet that it worked with M1, M2, and M3, and they didn't. In fact, when I researched it and because I was having problems and looked at it on Google, it said no, uh, it's not ready to. It doesn't work with it at this time, but they're looking for a solution. This one does work, and I wanted to also add that my understanding is that because of Memorial Day, there are going to be some big sales, especially on Amazon. I don't know if that was brought up earlier. I kind of came in a few minutes late, but I don't know if there's a special on this or if this is the special price. But I found this on Amazon, and it's called TOBENONE 2B USB-C docking station. So I'm recommending it. This one works, and it works like a champ.
Lee, if you're looking at it on Amazon right now,
Yeah,
please copy the link and put it in the chat.
I'll do that. I'll do that. Um, Now, I also had a couple questions. I just came back from visiting my brother-in-law in New York, uh, and he is having some problems with um, getting messages on his Mac that the hard drives were incorrectly disconnected. In other words, they weren't. What's the word I'm trying to think of? I'm sorry.
Ejected?
They weren't ejected properly, and he's getting
Yeah.
multiple messages over and over and over again. And he doesn't unplug the hard drives at all. They're always in. I thought initially that maybe the problem might be that they were old hard drives, that there was something wrong with them because of their age. No, he said both of them, one for his MacBook, uh, or I think it's a MacBook, and the other one was for a Mac Mini. Both of the hard drives were purchased within the last 6 months. I wondered if anybody else has had that kind of an experience. He's up to date on his operating system, by the way. I made sure that that was the case.
A couple of things, Lee. Ridge mentioned that a earlier update for the Mac OS exhibited this problem. Hopefully, it's gone now because of the update. If you have a hard drive that is misbehaving, doing this kind of thing, it could be the hard drive, it could be the hard drive enclosure, it could be the cable that connects it to the Mac or to the hub. And if it's going through a hub, then it could be the hub, and then the cable that goes from the hub to the Mac. Um, a little earlier, I talked about that I was having some problems with a hub, and I just recently got a new one. I also had some problems with a cable that goes from the hub to my Mac. And I had one, and the hard drives kept dropping out, like you said. And I was able to return it to Amazon. They were very nice about it, and yada, yada, yada. And I bought another one that was a little shorter, but still long enough to reach from my Mac way over to what I call my server closet, which is a entertainment center for my component stereo system from the 70s, which is over here. And the new cable fixed it. Now, does that mean that every cable that first company made is bad? No. The problem for me is that the cable goes behind my desk onto a little cable rack and then back behind the desk and then over to the cabinet over here. And it is a pain in the butt to crawl around on the floor at our age. That was the hardest part, was crawling around and connecting it.
Does he
So it
ever
could be any of those
restart?
things. Ridge, what do you got?
Does he ever restart his Macs? Shut down
Uh,
and restart?
I tried that already, and by the way, both hard drives appear to be LaCies, LACIE, the kind that are purchased by Apple. Both of them were plugged directly into the Mac, one into the Mac Mini, the other into the MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, whichever it was. I wasn't able to identify it while I was there. I was in a hurry. And incidentally, I was thinking that maybe it might be a good idea for me to have him disconnect the hard drives entirely. And the reason I'm saying that, I need your advice on this. Uh, he's been using a Mac for years, probably 20 years, I'm guessing. Anyway, and when he plugged those in, he thought that they were backing up his computers. He doesn't know a thing about Time Machine. He doesn't know what Time Machine is. In fact, uh, when I checked it, his mouse was not even set up for a right click. Uh, so uh, he was not his documents folder and his what do you call it, desktop folders were not even transferred or set up in the iCloud. So he was having confusion about what documents were on iCloud and what documents were in the documents or desktop folders. And he's only a year younger than I am. He's 73, just turned 73. I don't know whether it's a good idea to try to teach him at this point. I'm thinking that maybe you should rely on the iCloud backup or the iCloud to secure his documents and not bother with that hard drive. What do you think? Am I wrong? It's a long drawn out thing, isn't it?
I don't think we can say because we don't know him.
Yeah.
You know, there are people that are in their upper 80s and they're sharp as a tack. And there are days when I'm not very sharp when I was 40. So it's hard to say.
Well, the problem is he's sharp. There's no problem there. The problem is he's pretty much set in doing things the way he's always done them, and really is not really interested in learning something new. And I don't think there's any point in my arguing the point with him.
Well, what's his primary use of the computer?
Well, email. He does he uses Quicken on his computer. He uses, I believe he uses Microsoft Office, so he must be going back and forth with people using Word. I don't know whether he's using a spreadsheet or not. He does have a side business that he runs through it, so he's using it for personal and business use. But again, it's like, I have the same problem with my wife. She's running works for her business, which she at one time until recently half owned, and to show her that there's a simpler way of doing something, after 28 years, I figure, it's not real, there comes a point when nagging. There comes a point when trying to help becomes nagging, and you cross the line.
Yeah.
How old are those LaCie drives?
Yeah, both of them were LaCie drives.
How old are they?
They were purchased within the last 6 months. My guess is he purchased them from Apple. It's more than likely that he purchased them from Apple.
They're spinners or solid state?
They look like they're spinners.
Apple does not sell spinners. I think Apple does not sell spinners anymore. So they had to have come from somewhere else.
That may be the case. I saw the orange plastic case that surrounded them, so I'm assuming that they were LaCie's. I'll have to follow up with them.
It's vexing because obviously you're pretty sharp, but you need more information. And whether you can get him to willingly give it to you or not is a big issue.
Yeah, well, he wants the help on certain things, and this is vexing. This thing with the disconnect, because he's not really using it or doesn't understand the concept of backing up his computer. I'm not sure you even having those hard drives connected makes any sense. As I say, he doesn't understand the concept of time machine. He's never heard of it, actually.
There's another thing that happens here. I'm in an old folks' home, and we have a couple of young people here who are pretty good with helping on computers. And so our members spend a lot of money with these people and get a lot of help. I think that he needs help, local help that's right next to him. And, will he pay for that? If he won't, then you're just going to have to let it go and let him stub his toe. But you got to pay. You got to be willing to undertake to solve the problem and see that there really is a problem here.
Yeah, well, I guess I should have explained a little bit further. The reason I went up to visit him with my wife is because he's 7 weeks out of triple bypass surgery.
Uh-huh.
And he lives with his wife in a house on a mountain. He's 30 minutes from a small town called Olive Grove in upstate New York.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think he's probably driven into the city to pick up his computer and whatever else he's gotten, but I don't think he's got anyone there other than me because I made that visit who would actually be there to help him. I offered to put TeamViewer on his machine so I could remote in and see if I could help him that way. But as I say, he's kind of he wants to do things the way he's always done them. And incidentally, I'm not. This is not an age thing. I've run into 40-year-olds that are the same way.
Lee, a
I
little
have a
while ago,
question.
Roger dropped a link into the chat that you might want to take a look at. It's from Mac Observer, and it's titled "Fix: Disk Not Ejected Properly on Mac in 5 Steps."
Okay,
So that might be something to take a look at and share with him.
sounds great. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Do you have another
Yeah.
question, Lee?
No, I think I'll pass on it. I think it's just about the same problem, but with Quicken, he's having problems. He has it on his computer, but he's having problems connecting with it on a mobile device, and I'm going to have to get more information before I can do anything more with him on that. I may have to make another trip to New York.
Oh, Lord.
I know.
Oh, is Quicken up to date these days? Because I think I stopped using it because they stopped updating it or something, no?
Well, I looked it up, and from what I see, Quicken is now really an online setup, so that you run it. You can run it from your computer, but you can access it from your mobile device.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and so, and by the way, to make matters worse, when we flew into Newark.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, it was the perfect
Fuck.
storm.
But you made it back though, so that's good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We spent the biggest delay we had was in TSA coming home.
Well, not
It was
everything about Newark Airport is bad. My grandfather in the 1920s built their first control tower.
They're not still using it, are they?
they're probably still using it.
No,
Pair of
no.
binoculars.
So my question is, do we know what age computer he has and what computer OS he's using?
I
One thing
know
I've
that
noticed is that I have a new computer. I'm running what, Sonoma or something now, or Sequoia. I guess Sequoia. And one of the things that used to happen every time you tried to take some drive, disconnected drive, thumb drive, whatever, memory card even, you can't do this. But it doesn't
yeah,
do that anymore.
yeah. It's they both have an M1 chip, both the mini and
So
the
he's up to date on those.
OS.
Okay. All
He's
right.
up to date on that. He was behind. He was not up to date on the operating systems, but I
Yeah.
managed to take care of that the morning that before I left. So, and I explained to him how to, the importance of leaving his phone and his watch and his iPad plugged in and leave it overnight so it could update and the rest. So, yeah, and I'll check with him periodically to make sure
I think
he's
we
up.
just have to hope for things will work out for him.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Okay, thank you. I'll put that information on the hub in the chat though.
Any other questions?
I have what may be a very elementary question. Can you hear me
Good.
okay?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you fine. And if your question is elementary, we might even be able to answer it.
Yeah. I now have two Macintosh laptops. One is quite old and uses Mavericks. The other is a bit newer and uses Catalina. And the one that uses Catalina, unlike the first one, doesn't display when I have a Finder window how much memory is left on the internal hard drive. And when I look at about this Mac, I don't see it there either. So I really would like to know how much space I've used up. How do I
I'll
get it to do that?
Do you see
click
your
on the
hard
hard.
drive on? Can you see your hard drive on the desktop?
Um, Probably.
Click
Well,
on it and
Maybe,
select it. Click on it and select
probably.
it, and do a Command I, and you'll get information about how much memory's there.
You mean a get info?
get
Or
info,
Correct. Get
yes.
info, Command
So
I.
And the name
huh?
of the drive
click
is
on click on
Macintosh.
the hard drive icon and select it.
Let me see.
Then push Command I, and you'll get a little window that says how much
Let's
memory's
see.
been used and how much is left, down to
Yeah.
the byte.
Trying to wake it up here. Just a second. Let me enter my password.
So, Raina,
It should
are
be
we
in the
getting a tour of
upper
your
right
house?
corner of your computer, of your window, I think.
Um, let's see.
And
Uh,
it should say hard drive, Macintosh hard drive or something like that.
Macintosh HD.
There you go, Macintosh HD.
let's see if I can find it on this. Oh yeah, Macintosh TBSSD hybrid. That's what it looks like. So I'll just go to
Fine.
So
get info.
click on it, select
Click
it.
once on it.
Yeah, I did. I selected it. Now just go to
Okay,
get
now do
info.
push on the Command key and the I key.
Oh,
Or
okay.
select Get info from the menu.
Oh, I
Either
see.
one,
So
same thing.
Either one will work, yeah.
it says available is 365 gigabytes out of 1 terabyte. So that's okay. That's what I needed to
So
know.
you've got about 2/3 of your drive left.
Hey, I think we answered one
One third.
correctly.
That
No, I got 1/3 left.
that number is
If it's got 360 out of 1,000, that sounds to me like about a third.
Yep,
That says that's what's available, not what's used.
right.
and
So
that's
you
that
must be
Oh,
number.
using about
you have a third available. I'm sorry. Okay.
700.
I apologize.
Yeah, it's so I've used about 2/3 of it.
Yes.
Yeah, that number is a little on the small side. And as it trend, if it starts trending much lower, you're probably going to have to do something about it because the Macs
You-
really run all that well without maybe 10 to 20% and more like 20 to 25% of their hard drive free.
Oh, Jerry, you're being so pessimistic.
Right. Yeah, well, my other one is only a half terabyte. The older one is only a half terabyte internal hard drive, and I've I rarely have more than 50 gigabytes free on it. But I guess one of these days I'll clear off most of the stuff. I mean, I've got stuff on. I mean, everything on it, or almost everything, is backed up on several external hard drives. So maybe I'll just back up more and then remove stuff from the internal hard drive.
Have you thought about have you thought about changing the hard drive in the internal hard drive, make it bigger, put in a bigger one? Those older machines, have you
Um,
in them. So you can
wouldn't that
take
be
those.
wouldn't that be kind of expensive?
You know what? I don't know what it costs for those things now. I used to do that all the time before they started gluing them in. But
Oh,
I'm not going to try out a glued a glued in hard drive, or I should say, yeah, hard drive.
where would I go to do that?
Well, the one that's running Mac and Mavericks, you can probably turn it upside down and get the screws off of the back and lift the back of the case off, and you'll see the hard drive and you'll see it being able to be replaced if you want to, but it should be done by a person who knows about anti-static procedures
Oh
and
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
You know
Doesn't
what you
that
could do?
what?
Do you deal with other world computing at all?
Who, me?
You.
Yeah.
So go to
No.
other world computing
Where are you located, Ray?
Well,
Where,
I
pardon?
A Tucson person, right?
well, yeah, although right now I'm in Oceanside, California, but
Oh,
Yeah, well, we have a fairly good, pretty good uh, outfit here who works on Macs, and I would just take it to them. Rich, what's the name of that outfit?
Simutech,
Semiatek, yes.
Oh, okay.
you
They're
know
a
them.
sponsor.
And
Well,
get
I'll
them
see
to
if
do the job.
when they take out the old hard drive, do they automatically back it up?
You can tell them.
You automatically back it up before they take it out.
Yeah.
But you can also tell them to do another backup just to cover their butts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can do
Right.
that
and
too.
they will do it.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's an idea. Oh, and speaking of where to take things, I just had another thought. I have a scanner. Actually, Ridge, it's the one you got for me way back. That needs at least one roller replaced because images are having streaks on them. And are there places that repair those things, or is it more economical to just replace the darn thing?
This is a flatbed scanner?
No, it's a ScanSnap scanner.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. That's the
You
one
got
that
that for me.
that's the one that connected by FireWire, right?
No, it connects by USB.
Oh, USB. The
hmm
ScanSnap came from.
You sent
It,
it to me.
I
it
know. I
was
try to remember where it came from.
it was from Fuji, but another company's taken it
That's
over.
right, Fuji. I knew
You
there
might
was an
try
F
going,
in there.
you might try going to ScanSnap and see if they have any repair programs. But unfortunately,
Oh,
so many things these days it's disposable. Just buy another one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what you're going to run into.
hmm Now its software is compatible with the older Macintosh with Mavericks. I don't know if it, see that's one of the reason I keep running this old computer is that I've got so many programs that work on it and wouldn't work with something with a larger operating system. So I'm kind of stuck unless I want to spend an incredible amount of money, which I may not even have.
Right.
Well, may depend on what kind of things you need to do. If you
hmm
got rid of that computer, how would you do what you do on it on another computer?
Right. I'd have to replace about 5 or 6 different pieces of software, and that would be a pain.
Rhea, do you
What kind
have
of
a
software are we talking
iPhone?
about?
I beg your pardon?
Can you tell
You have
me
an iPhone?
give me a couple of
Do I
names
have
of
an iPhone?
software?
No, I have an Android. I'm
Okay.
talking to you on it even as we speak.
Ooh. The iPhone does a
So
very
what
good
does it
job
mean?
of scanning paper documents, and it will
Uh-huh.
deskew it. It will
Or
get rid of
Android will do the
stuff
same
around
thing.
it, and it will OCR it. But I don't know how well Android does that.
I think
Oh,
it does it just as well.
It could
well,
be.
does it have a form feed? I mean, the thing I like about the ScanSnap, it has a very fast form feed.
Oh yeah, and it scans on both sides at the same time.
Yeah, you can't do that with
And
anything, can you?
I got really, really lucky.
Yeah.
ScanSnap discontinued updating software for my scanner.
Uh-huh.
Actually, it was Kurt's scanner,
Mm-hmm.
and he went out and bought a new one, and then ScanSnap came back and upgraded the software. So he gave it to me. So now I have a ScanSnap that works with the latest and greatest.
Hmm.
Do you have
Yeah.
a
Well,
camera? Do you have a good camera?
who me?
Yes.
Um, you
I
mean
used
other
to
than
do all my scanning with a camera back in the old days before I had a scanner.
well, the thing is, it's if you're going to do voluminous things, hundreds of pages, don't you need something with a form feed? I mean, wouldn't it take forever to use a phone or a camera for that?
Oh, if you're doing that many, sure. And I'd spend the money and get myself a new scanner is what I would do if I were doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I
And the-
scan
Yeah.
books, photocopy.
Or
Another
take it.
another alternative is to ask yourself, why do I need to be scanning hundreds of pages? You may think, I'm not sure I need to do this anymore. So that's another alternative.
Or you
Oh,
could
I
check
do.
the prices at a place like the UPS store. I think that
Mhm.
they could do that for you. And if they did it at uh, much less than the price of a new ScanSnap, maybe that would be the way to go.
Good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've done it at my favorite copy place,
Right.
which is
Sure.
Action
There
and
you go.
Imaging. But based on the kind of prices they have there, and they're pretty economical, a new ScanSnap would probably pay for itself in the long term.
Yeah, in the long term, it will. But you got to come up with the money, the
Right.
upfront money today. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Now,
And keep it running that long.
I'm
It's
sorry?
keep it running that long that you can actually get your money out of it.
Just
Mhm.
a quick question. What kind of things are you scanning that take hundreds of pages?
Well, rare books that I got through interlibrary loan and photocopied cover to cover.
Have you
Uh,
checked online to see if those are available as PDFs or ebooks?
some of them are, some of them aren't.
I was
I've
going to
checked.
say, the Internet Archive and Gutenberg have vast and amazing amounts of old books.
True, but I've also gotten some very rare zines that they wouldn't have. I've looked in archive.org, they're my old friends, and they don't have everything that I scan. I also um I also scan my private diaries.
Well,
Mhm.
those you're not going to
Photocopy.
find online usually.
Yeah, yeah, you
Hopefully.
can do that.
Have
So
you
does that
checked out Gutenberg Project?
no, I've looked at archive.org, Google Books, but I can check Gutenberg. That's a thought.
I have found some amazing old stuff on Gutenberg.
Hmm.
I mean, books that date to the 1600s. So
Oh, I'm sure.
And I am reading all of the Sherlock Holmes stories on Gutenberg.
Uh-huh. In the first edition.
Well, the stories anyway.
Hmm.
Rhea, earlier you talked about replacing a hard drive in your laptop.
Yes.
I put a link to Other World Computing in the chat that if you go there, you can look up your model of laptop computer. And they,
Hmm.
if the hard drive is replaceable, they've made a movie of
Hmm.
how to replace the hard drive. And you can go watch that movie and go, oh my God, I'm not touching that. Or you can look at the movie and say, I think I could do that. So,
Don't you have to be in a clean room though?
No.
No.
No, no.
Oh.
You just have to make sure that you yourself are grounded and don't pass a static charge to the computer.
Walking around on the carpet.
So do it at the kitchen sink and hold one hand onto the kitchen
Faucet.
sink, the spout.
Well, I'm not sure you have to do that. I used to just do it on the kitchen table, but you just be really careful about what you touch and when you touch it and how you do it. But if you follow those videos that OWC has, they have videos that are made for experts and for people like me that don't know anything. I mean, I just know the right side of a screwdriver, basically,
What
and I can make it work.
what kind of a
yeah,
computer are you trying to put the hard drive in? May I ask?
It's a MacBook.
an older MacBook.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know the hard drives in the current ones are all soldered in.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
they're
that's
part of
what
it.
we're talking to her about replacing because she's got older computers. They probably can. You probably take 4 screws out and undo a couple of clips and redo the thing back in, and away you go.
I don't
yeah.
think I would trust myself to do that kind of work, but thanks for the tip anyway.
The
Well,
iFixit
look at the
website
video. You
also.
can see what they need to do, and hire. You've got somebody gave you a name for a company or something there in Tucson that does some of these things.
Simultech?
Simitech.
Yeah.
Simitech is a party that we have a link to in tmug.com under the links page and sponsors page, and they're good people. They're not afraid to charge for their labor, but they have good people. And what I've found over the years is that the people at Simitech are more gray friendly than the people at the Apple store
Yeah.
because they're all young kids and they think everybody should know everything and so forth. And
Oh,
but at Simitech,
mm.
they understand older people a little better.
Okay.
And if
See,
you
but you
mention
heard
that
you heard what
remem-
she said about whether they or somebody said about going in and asking about a hard drive and the people at Genius Bar didn't know. And I had the same thing experience just a few months ago. I don't remember what it was now, but I walked in there and asked a question that they should know right off the hand. Didn't know.
Okay, we are now at 6:51 here in Arizona, which is the time where we normally take a break, allowing everybody to get up and refresh their drink and get us ready for 7 o'clock start for the main meeting.